Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name's Dr. Ghost, and today we're going to be talking about some things that I think need to be changed in this game, or some problems, just talking about general stuff in this game that we all know and love, and we all know and hate, or we all don't like, or we all do like, right? There's a lot of things that in this game I think are, there's some touchy subjects that I think we're just going to talk about today. I think that's the idea for this one. So the inspiration for this video, the reason why I decided to come on today and talk a little bit about the game's health and whatnot is some videos that have been floating around. I think Spartan posted a video, and then Hive posted a video, and some other dudes I think also joined in. So I'm like, you know what, let's just join in on this bandwagon party. We are a little bit late, but you know what, it's better late than never. So let's come on here and talk. So the first thing I think that, the first problem, I guess, I don't think it needs to be changed. There's really no changing it, really. But the first problem, obviously, is the blowout games, okay? This is one of them, by the way. You guys are going to watch this game here, and it's going to unfold into an absolute clusterfuck, okay? So, look out for that. But no, the first problem in this game is just the blowout games. And it doesn't matter what tier you go to. There's some people that'll go in the comments and say, Dr. Ghost, this is mainly an issue down at lower tiers, or whatever tier. No, it's literally a problem at every tier. Okay, I see the same amount of stupidity at every tier, no matter where I go, okay? So I don't think it's a tier problem, it's just a general skill-based problem in the whole entire player base. It's just lots of people that don't really understand how to position correctly, or just don't understand basic concepts in this game and what they need to be doing, and not leaving your side, and not lemon training, and just doing your job, right? A lot of people don't understand the core mechanics and the core concepts of this game and what is required to win, and they don't understand armor angling, so they just end up going broadside and getting removed in the first minute of the game or whatever, right? So that's the first problem, just these blowout games. Like some games, even like this one, for example, that you guys are going to watch. It looks like a good game. Everything starts off fine, and then all of a sudden, bloop, it just dies. Everybody just dies, okay? Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Now, this is actually my first game in the Jaeger. Keep that in mind, too. It's pretty funny. Anyway, nonetheless, that was the first problem. Just the blowout games. I can't stand them. And they've been happening a lot lately. I don't know why. I mean, I have some ideas. Maybe there's a big influx in newer players or something, or just people are getting their hands on high-tier ships without actually really grinding for them. Like, you know how many people I see out there that are like new to the game and they have high-tier premium ships? That's another problem in of itself. I straight up don't think newer players, like anybody that has a certain amount of time under their belt, they should not be able to open crates, or if they do, there's like I think there should be a system in the game in place where they get lower tier premiums first instead of the higher tier premiums first. Because I just think it's ridiculous that a lot of these newer players, or people that aren't as experienced in the game, they're all up at high tiers, and they have these tier 7 premium and tier 8 premiums even, and they haven't even been playing the game for more than like a couple days in total. It's ridiculous. I think that's another problem in of itself, right? Now, the third problem in this game is actually a problem that's not even in the game. It's just the people of this game. I know, crazy, but it's actually just people giving feedback that's completely bullcrap, or just unnecessary feedback. Like, there's some people, for example, in the World of Warships Legends Discord that add issue to the problem of providing feedback, because believe it or not, Wargaming actually does somewhat listen to the feedback. They've actually added quite a few implementations on things that, you know, have come from our feedback, that have been the results of our feedback. But there's also a lot of things out there floating around, some very stupid, quite frankly, just stupid things that people say, like add submarines. Like, no. Why are you going around asking Wargaming to add submarines? Like Wargaming is going to listen to that. Like, no, we don't need submarines. Now, some of you are going to go in the comments and start typing away saying, well, actually, I want submarines. Well, good for you. Go play WoW's PC, and if you don't have the money, it sounds like a you problem. You should go buy a cheap PC. There's some pretty cool ones out there. Mine, for example, was only a couple $100 or a few $100s. I can play WoW's PC on it anytime I want. So do that. But don't please, for the love of God, don't keep asking Wargaming. Please stop asking Wargaming for subs. We don't need those, okay? And there's some other ships, too, that people ask for. Like, oh, add super carriers. Like, people want super carriers, right? So there's just some really outlandish feedback that is completely unreasonable out there, floating around, and it's just, it adds to the filter that Wargaming has to go through. The people over there at the development team have to go through and filter through and say, okay, yeah, no, we're not doing that, but hey, here's some good feedback, like, oh, moving the spawns back further, or extending the time of games, maybe to 20 minutes, or something like that, right? There's some good feedback out there, but there's also some just really outlandish feedback. So stop adding to that whole influx. You know, actually think. Use your brain. Do you really think submarines is going to be a good thing for the game? Okay? Do you think that's going to be a good thing for the game? It might be good for you. It might be fun for you, but it will definitely not be fun for the rest of the people in the game. Okay? So just think about, you know, think about these things. Really think about what the core problems are and what you think need to be changed, right? When you're going to post feedback. It's one thing to be constructively criticized and whatnot, but it's another to just completely go off on a game with no substance and shit. It kind of gets, yeah, a little annoying. Now moving on to the next thing, I just kind of covered there, talked about the spawns. Move them back. Like, why are and also just adjust the spawns overall on a lot of these maps. A lot of these maps need the spawns adjusted. Okay. Like, straight up, they need the spawns adjusted. Like, there's some weird spawns. I wish I had screenshots, but I don't. But just look at some of the spawns on these maps. Like, you'll spawn at, like, the inside of this island, or you'll spawn on this square when you should be spawning there. Wargaming legit needs to go through and just, like, rework some of the spawns, man. Like, there's some weird spawns on certain maps. And, like, especially some, like, divisional spawns. Like, on some maps, divisions spawn completely on the opposite side of the map from each other. How is that helpful for anybody? But yeah, seriously though, like, there's some weird spawn stuff, and also just moving the spawns back a square or two, like maybe 3 to 5 to 6 kilometers. Just move them back a bit, because I would like it, you know, to where if I could actually start the game and not get shot at right off the bat, I would like to have a little bit, just a little bit of longer, you know, time period to actually get myself into a proper position, so I don't get removed at the beginning of the game. I can't count how many times where I'm playing a cruiser or a battleship, and I turn out so I can, you know, get into a decent position, and I just get removed, right? Those are just really freaking tough situations. Like, for example, a battleship, literally, when you spawn in, your concealment is like halfway into the cap on a lot of these maps. It's pretty bad. And also, speaking of concealment, run concealment mod on your battleships. I forgot to mention, like, it really helps limit that whole scenario where you get removed at the beginning of the game because you try to turn out. That's one thing. That's not really a problem. It's just a preference. You should probably give in to that preference of concealment mod on battleships instead of RGA, because who the hell uses RGA anymore? Like, even on the brawlers, I don't get it. You can, if you have better concealment, you can stay unspotted longer and get closer to your enemy without being spotted, right? That's the whole freaking idea behind that. So, yeah, that's the one problem. It's just moving the spawns back. It would really be nice. Not too far back. Don't put them on the border or anything, right? But just moving them back a little bit would be really, really helpful. And now the next problem. This is something, you know, a lot of people don't really touch on. It's the RNG in this game. It's ridiculous. Okay, and a lot of people are going to be going into the comments and saying, well, Dr. Ghost, it just sounds like a skill issue or some shit. I know y'all are probably joking, but seriously, the RNG in this game is ridiculous, and not enough people talk about it. It really is. It's out there. Like, I can't count. I literally cannot count. Probably in the hundreds of thousands of times RNG has just completely shafted me. And I know it's a thing for everybody. It doesn't affect one person. It affects everything and everyone. It affects every ship and everything. It's literally RNG city in this game, and it drives me absolutely bonkers sometimes. I just wish Wargaming would tone down the RNG in this game. The amount of times where I should have absolutely deleted somebody for making a mistake, or punished them at least, right? If you make a mistake, you should get punished for it. That's my whole fucking idea behind RNG. Like, why is it that people, when they make a mistake now these days, they just don't get punished for it? I think it's ridiculous. Like, I aim perfectly, I aim exactly at the water line, or I aim a little higher because they're about to turn out, or whatever, or, you know, and I just completely miss, right? Or I just completely fall short. Or I hit them, but I get overpens on like a really thick broadside ship. It's ridiculous. Some of these things that occur with RNG is questionable, at least, right? At a minimum, questionable. Like, the RNG in this game, it needs to get toned down all across the board. I think some ships need to be a little bit more accurate as well. They should buff the accuracy of battleships all across the board, not by a lot, but just a little bit, to make them more competitive. Because, like, battleships are literal floating slot machines these days. Like, you play a battleship, it's like, it's one or two things are going to happen. You're either going to do really well or really shit, because there is sometimes a bit of an in-between there, but overall, you can't really depend on your ship to do exactly what you want anymore. One minute your ship is on fire, next minute your ship is just blah. You just wish you didn't play a battleship, you know what I mean? So I just wish there was just a bit more consistency, right? That's what I'm trying to get at here. I'm not asking for battleships to be complete laser beams, right? I'm not asking them to be the most sniperish things ever. I'm just asking for them to be a little bit more consistent. Because the amount of bullcrap that happens with the accuracy and the RNG in this game, it just drives me berserk. It really does. But anyway, that's one of the problems. Just the RNG in this game, it drives me berserk. And now talking about what are some other main things that I really have a problem with? I think those are the main things. Just moving the spawns around, and the feedback, and all the people that just don't they just abuse the feedback system, really. And obviously RNG, and also, you know, the tutorial system in this game needs an update. Like, newer players, there's so many bad players out there. I don't mean to be rude, but, like, I'm just stating facts here, guys. There's so many newer players coming into this game, and they just play all these medium to high tier ships, and they just do horribly. Because of that is because, you know, when they play so horribly, usually the games end up in just full blowout games. Like, the one team completely folds because they have a lot of worse players, and then the other just rolls right through them. And it's just not a fun time for anybody. Those kind of steamroll games just aren't fun for anybody. And it's usually a result of the player just not understanding the game and whatnot. So I think Wargaming needs to do a little bit better on their tutorial in the game. When you first start out the game, there should be some tips about positioning, right? They should be like saying, hey, don't sail in a straight line. Move around a bit more. Positioning is key, legends, right? There needs to be a bit more in the tutorial. Just to help out players and get them to understand that there is armor in this game. Like, you can angle as well. Hey, legend, you can angle your armor. Some ships have strong armor, like battleships and cruisers, if you actually look in your armor viewer. Or, hey, here's some links to some videos on the armor in this game, and if you want to understand it a little bit better. Yeah, there could be so much more in the tutorial phase of the game. I think it could really help out some newer players. It might not obviously help out everybody. There are some people out there that are just unsavable. They just will come in and just play just to play at that point. And they'll just tear down their team in the process, which is whatever, you know. But I think there will always be bad players, but you can limit it a little bit. You can help with it, right? So that's just my take on it, right? And that's overall the problems in this game. There's obviously some other ones, like wargaming issues, like their over-monetization of some things. We won't even get down that road. But that's their problem. You don't have to buy a lot of their stuff, but I do think some of their shit is pretty overpriced. Like, an Azerlane Commander is $20. Really? Really? Come on, man. Yeah. That's about it, really. That's about all I can think of. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Or is there anything else that I might have missed, or anything you want to add on to? That's what the comments are for. Feel free to go down there and leave your comments. And let me know what you guys think of today's video. I hope you all did enjoy it, talking about some of the things that I think need to be changed and just the problems, right, in this game. But I think, so there's obviously a lot more minor problems, or just problems that, you know, are just whatever, but I'm not really going to touch on today's video. But, yeah, anyway, if you all did enjoy, hit the like button. And hit the subscribe button as well. Let me know what you guys thought. Like I said, I actually do read all my comments pretty much. I do respond to most people's comments. Now, if you're just leaving completely outlandish comments, obviously I'm not going to respond to them. And if you're just being disrespectful, well, you're going to get removed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're just going to be a tool, you're going to get treated like one, and you're going to be put back into the box and never touched again. So anyway, nonetheless, that's going to do it for today. I hope you all did enjoy, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.